Welcome to this episode of I'm Just Saying. Welcome. This is JJ Hollis, Mr. Kankakee, and we like to welcome you to our episode today where we'll be talking about the dream of Dr. King. Okay. Hope your King Day was great. It's cold all over the country. Okay, so we just like to welcome you all. Hope you're staying warm. Again, if you want to contact me or get in touch with me after this show, I can be reached on all my social media at Mr. Kankakee. I will also have a link at the end of this video. If you're listening to me on iHeartRadio, Amazon, uh, and YouTube on the audio part, please hit all of my social media at Mr. Kankakee. And I'd like to just welcome you all to the I'm Just Saying, and let's get it started. All right, y'all. Again, welcome to this episode of I'm Just Saying. And today we're going to talk about Dr. King's legacy and going on. Is his dream a reality, or are we still living a nightmare? Again, welcome to this episode. This is Mr. Kankakee, JJ Hollis, and we're gonna get right into it, man. Hey, let me tell you, yesterday was a great day, not just here in Kankakee, Illinois, but all over the country. Day of service for Dr. Martin Luther King. Uh, but one of the things that I like to touch on today is the dream. He had a dream that one day we would all live in a world where we all got along, where this world where we would be created equal. Is that dream a reality? Or are we still living in a nightmare? We're going to discuss that. Please, if you guys want to join in on the discussion, I can actually add you to this discussion. Um, just hit me up in the comments and I will see about getting you guys in if you want to join the discussion. But I'm going to get right after it. Okay. One of the things I like to talk about here in his I Have a Dream speech, if you guys have not listened to that speech, I want you guys to go take a listen to it. Very informative. Some things that are still going on in today's society that he talked about in there. And we're going to see if America has came through on some of these. Have we made any strides? The things he talked about in that speech and what he talked about and what he ultimately died for. And we're going to talk about that. Okay, we're going to talk about a lot of this stuff that's going on today and how it ties in, okay, to what's going on today. That speech was 60. It was August 28th, 1963. It's over 60 years ago. Let's see if we've made it. One of the things I like to talk about is he talked about in his speech. He talked about the promissory note. America made a promise in the Declaration of Independence that all men would be created equal. Have we, has America came in on that? Has America delivered on all men are created equal? We're still today, in today's society, they marched all the way to Washington to get rid of some of this. We're still marching right now. We're still going through some of these same things right now. He talked about in his I Have a Dream speech, he talked about police brutality. George Floyd. Some of these things are still going on. Why are we, not just African Americans, okay, but minorities as a whole, why are we still getting treated like second class citizens? This speech, he said he had a dream. 60 years later, January 21st, 2025, 61 years later, excuse me, we're still fighting for justice. Why is that? Why are we still fighting for justice? Why is it that we're still fighting to be equal? Why is that? And we could learn a lot from the kids, and we could learn a lot from people around us if we would just come together and stop all the division. Okay. Yet last night, the reason I didn't do the show last night is because of the national championship. Okay, national championship, and I'm going to refer to this a lot during this episode. Ohio State and Notre Dame, those two teams, when they sung their school song at the end of the game, win, lose, or draw, they get in front of their fans, sing their school song. Black kids, white kids, Hispanics, Asian, didn't matter. They're all on the same team. They all locked arms. They all sung the school song. They all hugged. I love you, brother, the whole nine. We can learn a lot from those people. We can learn a lot. We can learn a lot as a society from those kids. And we need to get back to some of that. We all need to meet at a common ground and understand Dr. King would have wanted us to come together. We have so many leaders. Hey, we just elected a new president. Okay? We just elected a new president. One of the things that Dr. King talked about in his speech was don't forget. One of the things he talked about was voting. In his speech, excuse me, he talked about voting. Okay? He said there's people in the South that can't vote, and then my northern brothers feel they have nothing to vote for. Let's talk about that. Dr. King knew the importance of voting. He knew the elected officials make policies that affect us all, locally, statewide, and nationally. Okay, Dr. King understood that 60 something years ago. He understood that injustice here affects us all everywhere. So he understood that. So he understands that we have to elect the right people and put them in office so we can get some policies and get some things changed And don't always think color. Think the right person or the wrong person. Okay? Some of you are going to agree or disagree with the president we just elected, but guess what? He was fairly elected. And let's talk about numbers. People lie, numbers don't. Let's talk about the numbers. It was highly, it was high voter turnout here in Kankakee County where I'm at. However, amongst the African Americans and minorities, it was low. The voter turnout was low. So that's how President Donald J. Trump was able to be re-elected. Okay, let's talk about that. He was able to be re-elected. So don't be surprised. All of these executive orders that went into effect today, there's only two genders, male and female. There's a lot of things that were affected by some of you that are watching this live because you didn't go vote. That's one of the things Dr. King talked about in his I Have a Dream speech. He died. One of the reasons he died was because he was trying to give us a right to vote. Don't forget, in 1963, there was some people still not able to vote in the South. They had some crazy things going on. They had literacy tests. Those of you, I'm going to take you back, give you a history lesson. Literacy tests. They had questions on there like how many bubbles in a bar of soap, how many fish are in the ocean. Come on, man. And if you flunk this test, this literacy test, you couldn't vote. So he was trying to get rid of that. Now it takes you 2 to 3 minutes to vote. Dr. King lost his life, and a lot of people during the civil rights movement lost their lives so you could have a right to vote. And what do? You stay your butts at home and don't vote. That's a slap in his face. That's the nightmare I'm talking about. That's one of the nightmares I'm talking about. The dream isn't a reality. If it was, there will be 100% voter turnout amongst African Americans. There will be 100% turnout amongst minorities that he fought for the right to vote. Excuse me. And so we have to do better. We have to do better. And that was one of the dreams that he was talking about was voting. I cannot believe that we're still, and this is African American, I cannot believe that we are still, we should be at 100% voter turnout. We should be at 100% voter turnout. We should be at 100% voter turnout. But what do? Nothing. We don't do anything. We just don't show up to vote. And that's a shame because we should be voting at 100% clip because of what Dr. King said. Dr. King said there are people in the South that at that time couldn't vote, and my people in the North feel they don't have a reason to vote. Is that the reason you don't vote? Is that the reason that you don't get out and vote and the dream deferred and it's a nightmare and you wonder why things are not improving in your communities? You don't have a voice. You don't have a voice. In the ward I stay in right now in the city of Kankakee, on an average, there is, I think, 1,700 people, 1,800 people in the ward I stay in. On an average, only 60 people in this ward vote. I'm going to repeat that. There's numbers don't lie. 1,800 registered voters, and normally no more than 100 people vote. Come on. Come on. That's less than 1% of the people. Come on. Come on. We got to do better. We got to do better. We have to do better. Excuse me. That's less than 10%. We got to do better. We have to do better. Doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. Dr. King is turning over in his grave right now. Because look, you always hear the cliche, you get what you pay for. Okay? You got President Trump for the next 4 years. You got to deal with it. Because guess what? You didn't get up off your butts and go vote. Dr. King talked about that in I Have a Dream. He talked about us voting. That was one of the main things, the reason that they marched all the way to Washington. Okay? And listen to what he said. I hope it'll be a day where my kids and my grandkids, black, white, we all stand together. Jews, Gentiles, blacks, whites, we all, it didn't matter, Muslim, it didn't matter Catholic, it didn't matter Protestant, it didn't matter Baptist. We'd all stand together as one to get some things done. A lot of things can get done. That's what Dr. King's dream was all about. But it's a nightmare right now. We've made some strides. Like I said, I'm going to go back to this. We can learn a lot from kids in sports. I've been coaching here for over 30 years. And it's one thing I do know, that when I coached at a Catholic school here in Kankakee, all those kids got together, hugged, Sunday school song. It was so much camaraderie, so much togetherness. Same thing where I'm coaching at now. These kids come together as one. If we can keep the attitudes and the strife from the adults out of it a lot, we can learn a lot from these people. These kids get along. These kids don't understand the hate and the bigotry and everything that goes along with it. Okay? It gets nasty at some of these political meetings. Do you know that's one of the reasons that I said, forget it, I'm going to get out of politics, and I'm just, because it was getting ugly, man. It was, people weren't trying to help communities. They were in it for their own agenda. Me, the reason I got into politics was I listened to Dr. Martin Luther King. I understood what he was talking about. I understood what he stood for. Okay, so I wanted to make things equal. I wanted all the kids and people in our community to have access to facilities. That's one of the reasons I got involved. But a lot of people made it about themselves. I wanted to even out the playing field. So guess what? In over the 100-year history, the Kankakee Valley Park District, we didn't have one park named after anybody that looked like that. Now we have to. Okay? Equality. Equality. You better pay attention, because right now we just elected a man that's trying to get rid of some of this equality. He said in his speech yesterday, that's one of the reasons I listened. I want to hear what he is going to have to say. In his speech yesterday, he said he wanted to be the person that brought us together, but then he pardoned 1,500 people that tried to tear apart democracy. Pay attention. Pay attention. He pardoned all of those people who men get up and vote. Pay attention. Dream deferred. It's a nightmare. You're about to see a nightmare. You're about to see a nightmare because of what Dr. King talked about in his speech. We have to do better. We have to do better with his dream. We do. We have to do a better job. Because right now, it's not working. Right now, we're living a nightmare. Right now, we're still dealing with police brutality. Right now, we're still fighting for equal rights. Right now, we're still marching in the streets like we did in the civil rights movement to try to get equal rights in 2025. I attended a park district conference 2 years ago, and this guy said something in one of the breakout groups. And I said, hey, man, I felt proud. I said, man, for the first time in Park District history, we have a African American superintendent of recreation and an African American superintendent of parks. Man, I felt proud. You know what that man said? He said, that's a shame. In 2018, we still have it first. I shook my head. I said, dang. He was absolutely, positively right. Why are we still having first in 2025? Why are we still having first? Why did we just have the first African American woman elected to the Supreme Court? Why? Why did we have to wait till President Biden got in office? Come on. We have to do better. Dr. King's dream, he's rolling over in his grave right now. Because we're not doing enough as African Americans, as Americans, to make his dream come true. It's too much separation, too much strife. Why can't we come together? Why are we so separate? Why is that? Why can't we come together to get things done? And we have to start, charity begins at home, right? So if charity begins at home, right? If charity begins at home, why don't we start in our community? Why don't we start to make our communities better first? Like case in point, I'm in Kankakee. Let's make Kankakee better first. I'm looking at some of the people that are on my live right now on Facebook. In Memphis, let's start in Memphis. Let's make Memphis better. Hell, let's make Whitehaven better in Memphis. Let's all come together in Whitehaven. Then let's come together in Collierville. Let's come together in North Memphis. Let's make it better. Kankakee, Bradley, Bourbonnais, Hopkins Park, Pembroke, Mantino, all the way, every city, moments in Kankakee County. Let's make it better. Sun River Terrace. Let's make our communities better. My question to all of you, what are you doing? Everybody has a role in a community. What are you doing? I know my role. God put me on assignment. I coach, I mentor, community leader, activist. I wear a lot of hats. But guess what? I know the assignment. What assignment did God put you on earth to do? And nobody said it was going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. If this stuff was easy, everybody would be doing it. As a coach, I work my kids out. The only way they're going to get better, their bodies have to be what? uncomfortable. They have to push their bodies in order to get better. In order for us to get better as a society, we have to start having those uncomfortable conversations. Let's talk about racism. Let's talk about some of these hate groups that are still prevalent in our society. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about those purveyors of hate. Let's talk about how the January 6th riots affected us, affected our democracy. And the first day President Donald J. Trump gets in office, what does he do? He pardons them all. He opens them up the floodgates and he lets them know everything they did was okay. People died. People died on that day when they stormed the Capitol. And he just let them all out of jail. But he had the nerve to talk about President Biden freeing killers. That's what you did. But guess what happens, though? Guess what happens, though? We allow it all to happen. We allowed it all to happen because of one reason. We didn't get our butts up. All over the country, we voted. Last numbers, probably at about 20 to 25% African Americans voted on an average. 25%. So that means 75% of y'all lazy asses stayed at home and didn't get up to go vote. That's unacceptable. But we talk about, we went out yesterday, chest poked out to celebrate and commemorate Dr. King's birthday, a federal holiday. Your ass took the day off from work. If you work at a bank, you didn't go to work. At post office, you didn't deliver any mail. All that stuff. Federal holiday. Dr. King, I have a dream. And you stayed your ass at home and didn't vote. That's unacceptable. Dr. King, that's a slap in Dr. King's face. That's a slap in all those people that died during the Civil Rights Movement. All those people that are still dying in our streets because of unfair treatment. And you don't get up to try to elect the right people. You should be ashamed of it. How do you stay next door to somebody and not speak? Your neighbors. I speak to all my neighbors. I do. I guess I'm just that type of person. I speak to everybody. You know, they say it's a fault of mine. I want to get to know the people around me. How can I go out in the community and try to bring the community together when, damn it, I can't even speak to the man I see out in the yard next door? That's why I say charity begins at home. Let's start close to where we are. We have to do that. We have to do that. Dream, dream, dream. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to read you a quote from Dr. King. I'm going to read you a quote, and it's, in the end, this is Dr. King. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Woo! Just said something. He just said something. And we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Amen. There's a whole bunch of people around us that don't want us to succeed. And how do they do it? They've been elected to office. Okay? If you don't have a voice in these offices, again, I didn't say anything that you have to elect all these black people. No! Elect the right people. But what do? You stay your butts at home, and guess what's going to happen? The people that elect these people have access to these people, and they're going to push their own personal agenda. Dream. We're living the night. Police brutality. Police brutality. Think about that. Police brutality. Come on, man. Are we still dealing with police brutality in 2025? Yes, we are. And he talked about that in his I Have a Dream speech. We're still dealing with it in 2025. Just had a young lady killed by a cop in Springfield, Illinois. We're still dealing with it. We're still dealing with it here in 2025. And you wonder why we're still having problems. You want to know why we're still having gun violence in our community? Let's talk about that drink. Do you think Dr. King would be happy that we're still having all this gun violence in our communities? Do you think he would be happy about that? Hell no, he wouldn't be happy. And you want to know why? It's because we've gotten away from certain principles in our household. We let kids run our damn household. Do you think that was part of the reason he marched? Was for us to be burying our babies? Come on, man. We have to do better. Again, charity begins at home. Let me start in my home. Then let me start in my family. I've talked about this time and time again. We can get rid of gun violence in our community. We can if we have these uncomfortable conversations, not just amongst elected officials, but in our home, with our nieces, with our nephews, with our cousins, with our sons, with our daughters. We have to have these uncomfortable conversations. Why the hell you ain't in class? Why the hell you skip school? We have to have these uncomfortable conversations. Or you at the store at noon and you see a kid in the store. You know what? I know the kids get tired of Coach JJ because Coach JJ asked, "Hey man, what the hell? Why you ain't in school?" Hey man, get your ass to school. People in my family know. As they was growing up, I'd be in their butts about their grades, about why they ain't in school, and I'm still on them. And they adults. Because that's the only way our community is going to get better if we all work together and give a damn. I just called Sheriff Downey today to talk to him about a young man I seen in front of Walgreens. He was begging for change. I'm not going to say the young man's name. I helped him out, gave him some change. He went to jail today. You know what? That may have been a blessing in disguise. The young man said he was homeless. I asked him, did he need some help? No, coach, I'm all right. Boom. He's in jail. I didn't look down on him. You know what I said? Hey, he incarcerated. Hey, Sheriff Downey, man, I want to get that young man some help. We have to start being caring about our fellow man and using some humanity to help our communities get better. Some of these kids are crying out for help. Dr. King talked about it in his speech. He wants us all to come together to make things better. And what are we doing? We're not doing our job. And we have to do a better job loving our community. It's one thing he talked about in that speech. It's all about love. We got to love each other. That four-letter word, love. Love. We have to love each other. Don't forget Dr. King was a preacher. And my cousin, shout out to my cousin Rodney Lake, Pastor Rodney Lake. He talked about it in a community meeting last week about It's a sin problem. We have to, the black church used to be a staple in our community, leaders in our community. The black church did. What happened? Please don't blame it on the pandemic. What happened? When I was a kid, Pastor Copeland, God rest his soul, a lot of these pastors where I stayed in Kankakee, they were boots on the ground. Pastor Copeland, come to the school. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of these pastors, Pastor Wheels, all these guys, they was Johnny on the spot. What happened to that? And let me use a word. Consistency. Consistency. I'm not saying some of y'all don't do it, but are you consistent? Is the church consistent in the schools, letting kids know that they can come to the church as a safe haven? Let them know on Sunday, instead of hanging out with your pants hanging off your butt and smoking weed and drinking and popping pills and everything, you can pick up a Bible. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. There's a lot of things you can do in order to make people, but we have to do better. The dream deferred. Look, one of the things he said in his speech, and I got a lot of notes. I got a lot of notes. He said, "We can't walk alone. We can't walk alone. We can't walk alone. We all got to do this together. We all got to walk together to get it done." And think about these words. We can't be satisfied. We can't be satisfied if we get one victory. We got to get them all. We got to keep going. Say we end police brutality. Okay, now let's get more people that look like me and you on these police forces. Equality, diversity, inclusion. Diversity, equality, inclusion. DEI. And right now, this present presidential administration is trying to limit funding for some of these programs. Pay attention why you didn't get your ass up and vote. That's why it's important. Did you see all those billionaires sitting up there? Did you see all those billionaires there? Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, this app that I'm on right now, this blue app that I'm on right now. All of these billionaires was up there, right? Pay attention. Pay attention. These people could easily fund some of these programs. But our president is trying to do away. Think about what he said. There's only two, there's only two genders, male and female. Woo! Inclusion. Inclusion. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Y'all better pay attention. But you didn't get up and go vote. So this is what you got to do now. Local elections are coming up April 1st. Local general elections are coming up April 1st. We got uh, primaries coming up in February next month. Are you going to get up and go vote? Because guess what? One of the things you all don't understand, I told you charity begins at home. It's good to be part of these national elections, but things that affect you are your elections right in your community. That's where a lot of this stuff happens in. Okay, that affects you. You got to get out and vote for your local officials. Okay, get out and vote for your local officials. Because I'm gonna tell you, I always say Kankakee, Illinois, and I'm gonna talk about my hometown. I know I got people. I'm looking at my live. I see my coach on here, Coach Brown. I see Broke Dusty. I see Cree. What's up, Cree? You're doing a wonderful job, including a lot of people over there at Riverside. I'm so proud of you. You know, this is what you got to look at. We have to do a better job galvanizing and energizing our voter base right in our own community. Okay, right in our own local community. And Dr. King fought for us to do that. You have a right to vote. See, back in the day, and I see some people that are on here, they know how it was in the South. Man, when I went to school in the South, I got a rude awakening. Boy, it was some people down there. Hey, one thing I liked about the South, if people don't like you, boy, you know it. Woo, woo. But they still, some of the South is still the old South. But now I see these. I saw a shirt today. One of my guys I went to college with, I seen a shirt. He said, "Don't let your president get you whooped." Because guess what? It's some people that understand. Man, he just those people that stormed the Capitol, he just pardoned them all. That just excited a whole bunch of separatism. That just excited a whole bunch of people that don't want to include anyone. Think about that. Think about that. They tried to get rid of the very thing that Dr. King talked about, democracy. He wanted us all to come together. And just because somebody lost, do you know we didn't teach our kids anything with pardoning those people? Somebody you don't like it, man, just go fight. You don't like the way somebody got elected, man, that's some junk they do in them third world countries. When the right person don't get elected, man, they call it a coup. But we live in a democracy. We supposed to live by what happened. We just did it yesterday. Peaceful transfer of power. We just did it yesterday. Why we couldn't do it 4 years ago? But you didn't get up and go vote. So you're going to get what you get. You're going to get what you get. And don't be surprised when it happens. Okay? Don't be surprised when you have uprisings and some of these things that we don't want to happen in some of our communities. Because we're not as proactive as we should be. We're so reactive. Okay? We understand in our communities we have issues with gun violence. We understand we have issues in our communities with drugs. We have a lot of issues in our communities, but why are we not attacking them head on before it becomes a problem? Think about it. Let's just talk about everyone that's on this live. I want y'all, don't forget to share this video. And if you're listening to it on iHeartRadio, Amazon, any of Spotify, if you're listening to the audio, make sure to share this podcast, whether it's the audio or the video. Make sure to share it because I want people to understand that we got a long way to go. Can we get it done? Hell yeah, we can get it done. But we got to work together in order to make Dr. King's dream a reality instead of it being a big night. The only way we're going to get it done. See, I'm not here to talk about anyone. I'm offering solutions. And the solutions, we all need to work together in order to get some things done in our separate communities. We all need to get up and go vote, exercise our right to vote. Dr. King would have loved that if we get up and exercise our right to vote. He died for us to have that right to vote and also that love. We all, hey, our fellow man, if we show love, the only time you're supposed to look down on somebody is when you're helping them up off the ground. I just said something when I said it. Only time you're supposed to look down on another man is when you're helping them up off the ground. That one, 2 or 3 seconds it takes to speak to somebody. Hey, how you doing today, man? Everything all right? Smiling at somebody, telling somebody you love them. You can keep them from doing something crazy. Or just like I said, the young man I seen at Walgreens, he was real. He said, Coach, man, I ain't got nothing to eat. I said, you want me to get something to eat? No, if I can just get a couple of dollars. Gave him a couple of dollars. You know what I knew? That young man looked desperate. If I didn't give him them couple of dollars, he may have knocked somebody over the head for it. Think about that, man. Think about your fellow man. Think about how you can help. Think about how you can make the world a better place to make Dr. King's dream become a reality instead of us living in the nightmare that we're living in. Hey, man, I'd like to thank y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of I'm Just Saying. Hey, man, I really do appreciate y'all. Don't forget to share this video and share this podcast, the audio version. Hey, I know y'all see that I got on a sweatshirt. Y'all like to uh, just promote your business, promote your clothing lines or anything, you can send me sweatshirts. You can give me a hit me up on Messenger. I'll get you on my podcast. Uh, I'm into helping anyone. If you want to promote your business on my podcast, man, we can get it going. Okay, because I'm here to help. I'm here to help people. Okay, and the person that sent me this sweatshirt, D'Angelo Hall, custom apparel here, Dirty Money Apparel. Okay, go on Facebook, look up Dirty Money Apparel. Phone number 312-539-5451. Okay. Hey man, again, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in to I'm Just Saying. Um, you can hit me up on all my social media at Mr. Kankakee. Hit me up on Facebook, JJ Hollis. Okay. And you can catch this podcast later uh, on iHeartRadio, Amazon, and Spotify. Okay. You can get the audio, check it out while you're riding in your car. And let's all come together and make Dr. King's dream a reality instead of some of the nightmares that we're living in today. I'd like to give a shout out. Hey man, this is the reason I tell y'all need to tell people you love them. I'm praying for my family there in Memphis. Uh, One of my best friends from college, Sean Gambrell, my Masonic brother, passed away. I just talked to him 3 days before he passed away. He is battling cancer. He seemed okay, but God called his number. So I'm praying for all my people in Memphis, dealing with Sean's death, his funerals this weekend. So I'm praying for everyone there in Memphis. So, and we've had a lot of things going on around here in Kankakee, and I'm just praying for all those families that lost a loved one. My friend and my brother Aaron Pittman, him and JoJo lost their son. I'm praying for them, and just keep all these people in your prayers. And let's just tell everybody we love them. As I end all my podcasts, remember this: every day you get better, worse. You never stay the same. And remember, if you don't have a seat at the table, you are on the menu. May God bless you. May God keep you. And I'll see you next time on I'm Just Saying.
Yeah. Put me in, coach. Yeah. Put me in, coach. Yeah. I got that scatty on the floor. Put me in, coach. Night edition, yeah, them dope. Put me in, coach. More part, yeah, this a toast. Put me in, coach. Put me